Andrea Johnson is the new head of the NPA's Investigative Directorate. She takes over from Hermione Cronje, who resigned late last year. Johnson assumed the position on the 1st of March and brings with her more than 25 years of experience. So who is Andrea Johnson? And what can we expect from her in this new vital role? Reporter Bateman joining me now to shed a little bit more light about her. Barry, very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon. You have spoken to some of Johnson's former colleagues. What can we expect from the advocate, I guess, in this new position? I mean, this investigative directorate, it's a very critical part of the NPA.
Oh, absolutely. You look at Andrea Johnson, who was overlooked for that position of National Director of Public Prosecutions, which, I sat through those interviews and I actually thought Andrea was going to, or Advocate Johnson. I must be clear, I've known Advocate Johnson since about 2011 when she took over the Chanel Henning trial. That's when I first met her. I mean, other journalists have known her from the Salibi days, but that's when I met her and I got to know somebody who was very passionate about her job. In the Chanel Henning, it was a hit on a young mother outside her creche, which is in the neighborhood where Advocate Johnson lives, and she took it upon herself. She felt so moved by what had happened that she got involved in this case, and she followed through that. There were 4 successful prosecutions in that particular matter. But going back to what we're dealing with here, Advocate Johnson, having been overlooked in those National Director of Public Prosecutions interviewed, where it looked like she might have been the ideal candidate there, but now coming in all those years later into another position in the NPA, which I think, if you look at what the public is looking for, the current mood, the need for accountability to do with particularly corruption in the state, I think she's going to play a very important role. So what I've done is I've spoken to some of her former colleagues, Advocate Vusi Pikoli, Advocate Nel, who've worked closely with her many years and got to know her personally, and I asked them a little bit about Andrea Johnson.
I'm elated for the appointment. I think it's the best appointment the president's ever made.
Small in stature, but big in bravery, Andrea Johnson's reputation stands her in good stead.
She has proven herself to be an excellent prosecutor who is fearless, who is very determined, and also equally efficient.
Johnson is no stranger to politically charged cases, working under Vusi Pikoli and beside Nel. She was part of the Scorpions team that put former National Police Commissioner Jackie Salibi behind bars. The team was subjected to a vicious campaign led by the police's crime intelligence unit.
And she was part of that team that was determined that they were going to do the right thing as required by the law and the Constitution, and also being cognizant of the fact that we were taken an oath of office to pledge allegiance to the Constitution and the law of the Republic.
The advocate, who hails from KwaZulu-Natal, has more than 25 years' experience. She's the acting head of the NPA's Priority Crimes Litigation Unit and the coordinator of the organised crime component. Experience and expertise that will prove invaluable in her new role.
As a prosecutor, as somebody that's been involved in big matters, that prosecuted big matters, she would understand what it takes to prepare a matter, what it takes to ensure there's a prosecutable case, and what it takes to prosecute these matters. She understands, and she'll be in a better position to direct those investigations and to make sure that we get prosecutors and matters in court.
But taking on this role will not be without its challenges.
This ID, the Investigating Directorate, has got its own statutory and structural weaknesses, in the sense that it does not enjoy the same powers that were enjoyed by the DSO.
But Nel says Johnson will bring to the ID the notion that matters must not be investigated into perpetuity, a strategy employed at the Scorpions.
We should investigate a matter to a stage where there's a prosecutable case, trust in your skills, and take a matter to court. So I really do think that if you're confident to prove 10 corruption counts, it's much better than to wait till you have 300, because it makes absolutely no sense to waste time to investigate a matter, to get a racketeering charge it where you can dispose of a matter and get a conviction.
Nel says although he considers Johnson a dear friend, He and his team will remain critical of the NPA and the Directorate she now leads. Barry Bateman, Johannesburg.